Hello and welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profit Show. I'm so glad that you're here with us tonight. We've got a special show for you tonight where we've got three panelists who are going to be sharing their opinions about something really fun. Creative ways for creatives to recharge. Man, it is a beautiful Monday. It's dark already because it's getting to really short days during the year. So it seems, I don't know about you, but it seems so much later than it actually is just because it's so dark outside already. But man, I am so excited about tonight's episode and bringing on some really fantastic photographers to share their opinions about how they recharge, what things that they do, why they're recharging, why they even need such a thing. I mean, don't we have endless amounts of energy? Right. Can you be creative 24 hours a day? I can't. I run out of energy. There's things that drain me. We're going to be talking about those things that drain you, things that you do to help yourself avoid those things or deal with them, and then some fun stuff that these photographers do to help recharge themselves. So let's first bring on Amanda from Digital Pro Lab. Hey, Amanda.
Hey Jim, how are you?
Great. Are you enjoying this Monday evening?
Yes, and it is crazy week. We're still in it for Christmas, so we're getting everybody's orders out. Everybody's asking for last minute projects, which we're having a blast trying to get everything out for everybody. So doing what we do best, print.
Man.
Yeah,
So is this the busiest time of year?
absolutely.
Yeah?
For us. Our company has always been seasonal, just like certain photographers. You have your seasons, your wedding seasons, things like that. Digital Pro Lab is no different. It's a high season right now because all of our photographers are selling. A lot of our consumers that come in are, needing greeting cards or needing gift items or doing projects because their families are getting together. It's just a time of year where printing and creating things is in full swing. So this is definitely a busy year or part of the year for us.
Cool.
Yeah.
Um, I love these panels. You guys that are watching, this was totally Amanda's idea of bringing on panelists to share their opinions, and I'm always excited to hear what they have to say and what they have to share, because we get to see things from multiple different angles, something that we may not have even considered before. We might hear tonight because of one of the things that the panelists say, and so I want to encourage you guys to like and love the whole way through. We love those loves. We want you to comment. We want you to ask questions. And we may even use one of your questions for the panelists. So don't be afraid to ask the questions. If we don't like it, we just won't use it. No big deal. But if we like it, if we've got time, we're going to use it. We absolutely want to have this needs to be interactive. We want you to be a part of it. And so let's bring on real quickly all three of our panelists, and then I'm going to ask them to briefly share a little bit about who they are, and then I'm going to give each one of them the floor to be on just by themselves to talk about a little bit more about what they do. But let's bring on Carey,
Hi.
Adam Robledo,
Yeah.
and Steve Rose. Man, thank you guys for being here this evening.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, real quick, would you do me a favor and tell us your name and your business and the type of work that you do? I'm going to give you an opportunity to share a little bit about who you are, but just those quick three things before I have you on, just one at a time. Your name, your business name, and what genre? What do you photograph? So let's start with Kat.
My name is Carey. My business name is Darkroom Photo. I photograph portraits, rebranding, lifestyle, product, and wedding photography mostly. Is that all the questions? Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you, Kat. Love it. How about next, Steve Rose.
Hi, I'm Steve Rose of Steve and Rose Portraits.
and I specialize in large fine art prints of family and children.
Nice. Thank you for being here, Steve.
Thank you.
And Adam is with us. Adam Robledo.
Hey everyone, my name is Adam Robledo with Shuttercraft Photography, and I primarily shoot family, lifestyle, maternity, and the occasional wedding.
Nice. Well, thank you all three for being here. Uh, uh, Amanda, did you have anything you wanted to share with them before I interview them?
Well, I just want to say thanks, guys, for joining us today. We always every Monday we've been trying to do these panel discussions. So Jim and I kind of always talk about who ideal panelists would be, and given the topic today, creative ways for creatives to recharge, I thought of all three of you. So I'm really, really excited and glad that y'all are able to join us today. And I really want to share, y'all with everybody else. I'm sure some people know y'all already, but those of y'all that don't know these three photographers, you're going to love them. They're great.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's start with Adam. And Adam, would you do me a favor and tell us a little bit more about who you are? If you want to share information about your family, that's great. Share information about growing up. Share information about your vision of your future.
Yeah, sure, definitely. So, I guess to kind of tell a little bit about myself. Born and raised in San Antonio all my life. I went to college originally to study music, and then from then just didn't really plan out. I ended up um, starting a family, really, and I have three wonderful kids. Jason, Adeline, and Emma Kate is our newest one with my wife Katie. She's my biggest support. I love her so much. And I've been doing photography for since the start of COVID, around May of 2020. So not too long. It was something to where I really wanted to get into. I had a lot of time off because during the pandemic we're all in quarantine. So it's something I really wanted to dive into a lot. And then once I started getting into the weeds of it, I really got obsessed with it, and I really wanted to learn more because I compared it to music, where I was really pretty adept in, to where I'm able to express myself creatively. And so that was an itch that I've been yearning for a while, since I put music on the shelf. So this really scratched that itch for me. And since then, it's been a great ride. I met some wondrous, awesome people, great mentors, great teachers within the craft, like yourself, Jim, and all the people in the panel as well, and Amanda. The people I met through here has been fantastic and very thankful. Um, I've started really getting into the business side of photography about maybe a year ago, when I started realizing I was like, oh, I think it started happening with family and friends, then it kind of snowballed after that point. But yeah, it's been a great ride so far. And that's other things I guess I can add in, like long walks on the beach. No, I'm joking. No, I shoot Nikon, and I own also at a little Fuji X100V, and yeah, I just like taking photos. It's been fun.
Nice. Well, you have some fans that are on watching you right now. Kevin Reyes says, "I love Adam's work," and someone said you really have learned so much in so little time. That you have a fan base, clearly.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I hate to say this as hallmark as it is. I mean, like from these little groups that are on Facebook, with the San Antonio Photography Group and the other ones, that was my first, if you want to call it mentor, as its own identity. So just seeing everyone else's work really helped me. It really inspired me to like learn more. Like, how do they do this? Or that's what really helped me a whole lot. So thank y'all for giving me the inspiration to continue to strive to be the best that I can be.
Nice. Well, thanks again for being here today. We've got some questions coming up for you here pretty soon. So thank you, Adam.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so let's bring on Carey. Kat.
Hi.
Again, we are so happy that you're here. Tell us a little bit about who you are and where you've been and where you're going.
Okay. So born and raised in San Antonio. I started as a film photographer mainly, and I went to high school, and that's where I got to be in my first darkroom. So I was doing more art stuff through high school and into college, and then in college, I got an editing position at a wedding coordination place, and that turned into an opportunity to second shoot a wedding, which turned into first shooting, and that supplied me with the funding to kind of start branching out and doing other things. So I mean, really, I've been shooting since I was very young. And I love it, and I'm very lucky that I can do something that I love for a living. I'm married with 2 kids. My husband just actually recently retired from teaching, and he's come on with me full time. So now we're a team, which is really great. He's always been supportive, and now he can actually, physically be there to support as well. He's a fantastic photographer. Also, yeah, I do a lot of weddings on the weekends. I shoot a lot of portraits and lifestyle stuff. I have a studio on Jones and Broadway that I love. I've been there for about 8 years now. And really just like me is, kind of what I do. Like photography's besides my family, very, very much my life. And so it's been great, grow up in that with all of that surrounding me. And I shoot Canon. So for all the Nikon shooters, I respect you. Don't be mad. But yeah, that's it.
I love it, Kate. Kat, you're
War there.
so tell us a little bit about your studio. I mean, right at first when you decided I need one, was it a little scary to actually get one?
Yeah, I mean, I had started a little space in my house, and that was working for a little bit. And there was this building that I had visited a couple of times, and I was like, man, one day I'm gonna get in there. But every time I tried to get in, somebody else had gotten, in front of me. And then I finally snagged this awesome spot, and it was way too much for me. It was 1,800 square feet, and I didn't need all that. So sharing with someone else, and then I joined forces with Josh Heskin, and now we share space in the front, and we have like an office next door. But yeah, it was scary, but it was also nice to have a little separation between my home life and my work life, because I would just be editing at home, and so I got to put my computer there, and that felt really good. You kind of clear your mind, so you're not like, oh, let me help you with this, and let me get back to this, and stuff like that.
Awesome. Josh is a good guy too. I like him.
He's great.
By the way, Rick wants to comment on your Canon comment.
Rick. Yes, Rick. Thank you. Thank you.
And it looks like Miguel's commenting on your work.
Oh, thanks.
So I think that was for you. I guess it's possible it could have been for Adam. Sorry, Adam, if
Adam.
it was.
I'm gonna take it because, but I'm almost positive that was for Adam. Yeah.
That's funny. Well, Rick definitely appreciates your Canon comment. Well, thanks again, Kat, for being on today, and I'll have some questions for you in just a moment.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Let's bring on Steve Rose. Hey, Steve.
Hi.
Hey, Steve. I've known Steve for several months now, and I know that he is he really studies. He really focuses on his work. So I definitely know I could say some really good things about him. He's been in several of my classes, and if there's anyone who's going to complete the assignments, and I do give pretty good assignments, if there's anyone that's going to complete it, it's always Steve. So I definitely appreciate the time and effort that you put into it. But thank you for being here this evening. Can you tell us a little bit about you, your background, maybe your family, and what you envision for your future?
Sure. I started off as an Army brat and lived in France, Italy, and Spain when I was young. Didn't know really much about the United States till I got back in junior high. Went to Copper's Cove, and then college in San Marcos, Texas State, and then joined the Air Force. When I got in the Air Force, I was there for 10 years flying fighter jets, transitioned out of the Air Force into the commercial airliners. Did that for quite a while, and I just recently retired, actually 2 weeks ago, from Delta Airlines. As far as photography goes, I'm dating myself, but my grandfather gave me a Brownie camera when I was little. Took that with me on all these adventures as a kid, and from there just started upgrading to different film cameras and digital cameras. So I've taken photos all over the world my whole life, both when I was in the military and flying for Delta. I would always take tours and take pictures all over the world. I'm a Canon shooter for the professional side of the house, but I have my little Fuji XE4 that I like to take snapshots of my family, my friends, and travel photos. And as far as fine art portraiture, I had the privilege of being able to retire early with full pay for the last 2 years. That's so that we could bring the young guys in and they wouldn't have to lay off the younger Delta pilots. So I've been studying like crazy, practicing both indoor and outdoor studio, and taking lots of photography business classes from Jim, because I know that 80% of your photography business is just running the business, and the 20% is actually taking pictures. So looking forward to getting my my fine art portraiture up and running, and that's where we're at right now.
Nice. So once you do get that that business, what you call up and running, what does that mean? Are you going to be crazy busy, people coming in a studio? Or are you going to go to them? What does that look? What does that look like?
Well, I've learned a lot from you. So, I had to study all my numbers and figure out just, what I had to charge and how many people I need a month. And for me, I'm more of a low volume photographer. So I'm expecting to get just six customers a month. And what I would really like to do is take pictures in their house or in their backyard. Mainly so that I can get to know them and to look and see where I'm going to put that large fine art print inside their house. It's all predicated on what kind of space they have, and what kind of pictures they want me to take. So low volume photographer, but I'll use Digital Pro Lab to get my large canvas prints, and we'll put a nice frame on there, and I'll hang it on the wall for them.
Digital Pro Lab. Let's show them that thumbs up again. I can see her do that, but until I put her up, you can't see her. So yeah, I know that Amanda appreciates that.
Well, she did a great job for me at Elevate Exhibition. I printed 3 large prints, and they came out beautiful. I was just so proud to show them, and I owe a lot of it to her.
Nice. Well, Steve, ideally, would you are going to be here in San Antonio, or will you travel to different places?
I'm going to continue to travel, but as far as my professional photography goes, it'll be here in San Antonio. And I drew a ring 15 miles around my house, and that's my zone. That's where I'll be grabbing clients from. So I live up in Bernie, so just put 15-mile circle right there, and that's where I'll be going to take pictures. I plan on still traveling a lot around the world. Not so much this last year. I went to New York, New Mexico, Puerto Rico, but I don't know. I'm thinking Egypt's next, maybe in the next few weeks. So
really?
We'll
okay.
Yeah.
Well, Amanda and I'll be looking forward to seeing your photographs in class. Amanda will look forward to seeing your photographs at the lab.
There's amazing inspiration, I'm sure, that you're going to get, Steve, with your style of portraiture from Egyptian portraits. Just the styling, the different way that they did the hair, and I mean, even in a lot of their statues and stuff like that, and tapestries that they use, I think you're going to be wildly inspired. Bring back some of those tapestries so that you can actually use those in your portraiture that you're doing.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
I've flown in, and out of Cairo a lot, but my wife wants me to go down there to the Valley of the Kings in Luxor and places like that. I have not been there, so I'm looking forward to doing that.
It's amazing. Can't wait to see your food.
All right. So I'm going to pull both of you off real quick and then introduce that first question. So we are talking today with these wonderful panelists, and the topic, as you know, just or make sure that you know, is creative ways for creatives to recharge. And so I want to start off the first question after have an opportunity to tell us who they are with Steve. So I'm bringing Steve right back on. Steve, tell me about a situation, describe a situation um, that drained your energy, but don't yet share a solution. Now, I know you're starting your photography business, so you may have to, not have a whole lot of experience to draw from on that, but maybe you have had something else as far as your life as a pilot that emotionally drained you, and I want to just form a basis for why we even need to bother to recharge, because we don't have a tremendous untapped supply of energy. We have only what we have now, and we can easily be drained. And so I want you to describe a situation where you have been drained. If it's photography related, that'd be awesome, but it doesn't have to be. But don't provide the solution just yet, because that's the next question.
One recent one was, of course, COVID. I was flying all over the world, all over the United States, a lot of Latin America, Central America, and having to deal with COVID. And it was pretty taxing, both mentally and physically. Just trying to get meals when you get through for the day, or getting a meal at the airport. A lot of the restaurants were closed down. In the airport, they were closed down. When you get to the hotel, they were closed down. Just trying to, relax, which with all the restrictions going on all over the world, it was pretty trying. Actually, that's one of the reasons why I took that early buyout, and I've been able to recharge since.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you had that situation where you were able to do that kind of thing. So thank you for sharing that with us, Steve. And the same question I'm going to ask next of Kat. So Kat, describe a situation that has drained your energy.
Again, probably a recent situation would be, COVID shut a lot of stuff down. And so coming kind of back and having things kind of start to get back to normal, everybody really wanted to schedule right on top of each other. Everybody wanted to get all they're tired of waiting. We want to do this now. And I just kind of have a habit sometimes of biting off more than I should too. And it can be really, it's just very draining to be constant without any time for yourself, and just constantly working because you feel like you don't want to disappoint anybody. So for me, most draining stuff really does come straight from just me like overextending myself a little bit.
Do you feel like that's a problem that a lot of photographers experience?
I definitely see that within a lot of people, because a lot of people that do this just as one single solo person, small business, or entrepreneur, we tend to take on everything. We take on the social media, we take website design, we take on editing, we take on all of the shooting, all of the scheduling, and it's a lot. It's a full business. And sometimes it has to do with control, and you're just like, you don't want to let go of anything. But this year for sure, I didn't want to say no to anybody. I really wanted everyone to have, what they wanted, and it felt good that they were coming to me. So I need to work on that.
That's a good point, because it does, as creatives, we feel good when people are coming to us and saying, I love your work and I love you, and it makes you want to continue to do more. But therein lies an additional problem. There's not enough of you to give as much as you'd like to give. Mm-hmm. And so that's Man, that's a good follow-up question. I might as well go ahead and ask that. Um, what do you do when you have to, you've realized, you know what, there's not enough of me to go around? How do you
I
say, how do you stop that? How do you not give what it is you want to give?
I think the first thing I do is I probably have a nice solid cry, just a nice solid like, all right, let's cry this out for just a minute and just get all the frustrations out, and then I make a plan. I figure out some of the things that I can possibly maybe give out to other people. Like, can I hire somebody to do some calling for me? Can I just pump the brakes on social media for a little bit? Like, I'm already busy. Let's just pump the brakes and schedule that for later. Um, this year, I looked up an app called Later that helped me pre-schedule a lot of my posts, and so I'm actually starting with that application in January, where I'll have a day where I just kind of like pop stuff in there and it schedules it all out, and that's gonna be really great for me because I'm also very indecisive. So I could just sit there in front of my phone or my computer, forever trying to figure out the best way to do stuff. Sorry, that's my son. He wanted to say hi. But yeah, finding a way to give the work a little bit out, and just scheduling things out a little bit better, and working on all that currently.
Nice.
So
Nice. Well, good. Thank you for sharing that with us. All right, so let's bring on Adam. Adam, can you describe a situation that has drained you?
Yeah, definitely. So my situation is a little unique because, and I hate to say it like this, but I feel this almost daily, the draining. So to kind of give a little bit more background of what I do. So I'm a freelance photographer. So I've been doing it that long. So I still have a 9 to 5 job, or technically 7 to 3. I'll just say I work for a big bank. Have been for about 7 years. On top of me doing now photography with clientele, and on top of me being a father of 3. So a lot of this, a lot of my energy gets drained in multiple areas. And there's been times where I'm like, man, this is getting a little bit too much. Like, I don't know if I should just stop or I should do something else. Or, I mean, there's been a lot of times where I just felt like I had a lot of self doubt. I was like, man, well, why should, like, I'm feeling so drained every single time. And once I'm done with work, I got to do this, and I still got to edit, and on top of everything too. So yeah, I feel it quite a bit. Um, the drain, if you will. But I have some ideas that, or some things that help me get through every day and every single moment, that help me continue to strive to do what I do.
Yeah, uh, uh, that is a lot to have effectively 2 full-time jobs,
Yeah, especially.
and 3 because you've got a family.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and there's probably a lot of people who are in the same exact situation, and they, when you're in when you're in a situation when you're forced to deal with it, uh, do you find that you become better at dealing with it than if you weren't forced to deal with it?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. And there's an old saying. It's like your body's like a sword. The more you pound it in the heat, the stronger it gets. This is definitely, and I'm a big believer in like that kind of saying, because this, like, I feel like this life gives you these opportunities that you may not even see at first being an opportunity. You may just think of it as a hardship or something. But I see this me being in this journey that unexpectedly went this direction positively, as an opportunity to where I need to just continue to work, and this is just one little hurdle, and this is helping my family. This is helping me express my creativity and learn and grow, and so yeah.
Nice,
Mhm.
nice. Well, the next question is going to you, Adam. Uh, how do you positively deal with a difficult situation?
Uh, so I'm trying to think of let me think of a scenario like it was a difficult situation. I mean, I can kind of just go on what I was saying as far as like a difficult situation being the drain, if you will. So how I positively deal with the like a situation like drain or whatnot is kind of get kind of goes into the theme of today's portrait conference is how to recharge. So one thing that I learned, so during my time of learning photography, and actually I picked up film recently, and so some people would say like film is dead or dying off. It's actually really not. And just to kind of give a shout out, there's a lot of people who in the San Antonio, there's a film community in San Antonio, and they're very very passionate on what they do. Victor Figueroa is another person that is one person that really helped me a lot. um, uh, J.R. Arias is another person who is a big inspiration to me. I can go on. Ben Schrader. There's so many people, and so that's something that I picked up film because it's a new way of photography. I grew up as a '90s kid, film being there, but I didn't really know what it meant or how to work it. So I took the time to kind of learn it, and learning something brand new like that sent me back to the beginning of me learning photography. It was something like an itch that I was able to scratch, and it was able to get me going creatively. So it was something brand new, and because of learning all of that, it sparked a whole new array of things for me to feel more uplifted about. So, oh, it's something new. Oh, there's more people in this community. Oh, there's that, and it comes back down to me having love the love of meeting new people, finding opportunities in anything. Every person you meet, it could be an opportunity for a great relationship, learn something new. So that's one scenario, I guess, to where I can deal with like a rough situation, um, like drain. So feeling drained or whatnot, what I do is I try to find something different, take my mind away from it. Even though it's still photography, when I mentioned film, it's something different. It's something that's like uncharted territory. And for me personally, everyone may be different, but if I go to some place I have no, whether it be a new activity or something else or a new destination that I have no idea about, I get excited for that because it's like there's you never know what's going to be out there. So that's what really, I guess, recharges my batteries metaphorically is trying something new, going after it, and see how you end up at the end.
Trying something new. So putting yourself in a s- uncomfortable or unknown environment.
I would say, yeah, for me, unknown. Yeah. Um, that way, I mean, it's just for me getting myself out there and just say like into a situation that I have no idea how it will plan out gets me hopeful. It's like, oh well, I don't know how it's gonna be. I don't know what the outcome is, but just I'll try to stay positive because the what makes me come down because I could easily just think like, oh, I don't want to do that. So I don't know anything about it. I'm gonna go whatever I want to do,
Right.
but I have to think back to like how I started this journey with photography. It's like this learning manual alone was was its own thing from me learning like just picking up a camera with my iPhone, just thinking like, oh, everything's auto. No, it's not. But but yeah, but I'm preaching to the choir here. But like that's something that because I got into that uncharted territory of learning, like for example, manual shooting, got me to meet so many different people in a positive thing. So I try to think back of this. You never like, even though it looks daunting, try to go after it. You may enjoy what the outcome may be. So I try to that alone tries to keeps me going positively. Same thing too as I mean another example is um being like a fatherhood. Like I'm a young father. I had my wife and I, we had our first kid at 21 and 19 years old. So, and fatherhood too was a, at that age, you can, just like I was saying, like you can just like give up or you don't know what to do. So it's totally uncharted territory, but we
Um,
both made a decision and be like, no, we're going to go through this. And even to now is like, Jason's one of my best friends now. He's like 9 years old. I'm able to joke around with him, but yeah,
nice.
it's like one of those, again, comes back down to, even if you have doubt, just know that you may enjoy it. Even if it's simple, you trying out a brand new restaurant you have no idea about, just go there. You may enjoy it and just try to stay positive.
Awesome. Amanda's asking me to ask you a question, but I have a question that's coming up that I think covers it. So I have a question that for Amanda or from Amanda here in just a moment. But thank you so much, Adam, for answering that question. I'm going to bring on, let's see, Steve to answer that same question. So, Steve, uh, how are you positively dealing with difficult situations that you're facing?
If it's one that just comes up spur of the moment, I try not to make any decisions or go react too crazily right off the bat. So I tend to go ahead and take a day off, or take whatever time I can to think about it, and not in an emotional way. By getting a good night's sleep, giving people the benefit of the doubt, or just having empathy, but mainly just not trying to make a rash decision when it comes to something that's difficult, or very emotional. And so that's how I would handle a situation that just comes up off the bat. And as far as I don't mind putting myself in a difficult situation. I've done that a lot this last year. I have friends that have taken me out and shown me, way outside of my comfort zone, with photography, which I think everybody should try to do. For example, I was kind of uncomfortable with boudoir photography, and so I did a photo shoot with that. Really didn't do a lot of young children, especially babies, and so I did another photo shoot with that to get out of my comfort zone and learn as much as I could about that. And I've learned that babies is not my thing. I don't mind 2-month olds with their parents holding them, but I found out that I love little children and can work with them very easily. They're easy to bribe with candy and with toys, giving them free little toys. So there's a lot of little techniques you can use with children, and I just like photographing them. They're real. Little human beings, and they don't have any doubts about themselves, and they're just a lot of fun to work with. Um, so those are kind of some of the things. Another one that I did that was out of my comfort zone was working with plus size models. Went in there and learned how to shoot with them. Found out that really what it is, you have to learn how to pose them properly, to light them properly, and make them look good without using a lot of Photoshop. I don't believe in going overboard on Photoshop. So getting yourself out of your comfort zone, as long as you're doing it, willingly and on your own, and then taking all those techniques you learn, and then putting it into your type of photography. So that's kind of the way I handle those two situations.
Ah, perfect. Good. Uh, you and Adam both mentioned about getting outside of your comfort zone in one way or another. Uh, I was listening, or I read something yesterday about someone who said, if you have any intention of being successful, and in my opinion, successful is based on how you define it, not on how someone else defines it. But you've got this article said you have to step outside of your comfort zone every single day. If every day that you're too comfortable, you don't grow. You stagnate. You're like water that's in a pond. It will stagnate. But this person said every single day do something, and he said specifically that scares you. And so talking about something outside of your comfort zone, and that may be good advice. I mean, to each his own. But it sounds like you have allowed yourself to be in an uncomfortable situation, and you have found the solution to making it where it's not uncomfortable anymore. And that's fantastic.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Steve. All right, let's bring on Carey to answer that same question. Kat, how do you positively deal with a difficult situation? I think your mic is muted.
Sorry about that. So yeah, it just, I guess, depends on the situation. If it's a situation involving like myself or my self-confidence, or I feel like I'm in a rut, I'll, try to do something creative. I'll go into the dark room and just, shoot a roll black and white, pop into the dark room and just develop and, experiment with like film baths and stuff like that. I'll just go outside and, stuff like that and try to clear my head. A lot of the stuff that has to do with me, I end up using photography to like, help me. But when it's a difficult situation with, you know, forces, sleeping on it probably is my number one. if there's something that's happened and I'm kind of like stressed about it, I'm like, okay, how am I going to handle this situation? I'll usually just kind of take a night, sleep on it, and then the next day I'll either have a good solution, or at least I'm not so emotionally invested or upset about it, and I can think a little bit clearer.
That makes a lot of sense. And does that work, or are there times when you have to do even more in order to get it by? Does that just getting away from that situation provide some inspiration for you, or do you wake up at night with an idea, or did you wake up in the morning excited and energized? How does that work for you?
No, in the morning, usually things are a little bit more clear. Resting your brain is always a really great idea. And then you can kind of like jump back into solving that issue or that problem. But yeah, normally that definitely works. And then you can start a proactive plan, which is, I never thought I'd be a planny person, but that seems to be the most helpful thing. Like just knowing what the next steps are. And sometimes if the situation happens more than once, you have a little bit of, I guess, experience in it. So you can be like, okay, maybe not
That
this, but.
that's interesting. How you just commented about how you didn't really feel like a planning person before, but now you see it as a positive solution to dealing
Yes,
with the things you're faced with. Uh,
absolutely.
I I teach it in my classes, but every once in a while I come across someone who doesn't agree. And it's hard. It's hard to convince someone that planning is a positive thing when they believe that that no matter they have this mindset. Well, if I plan something, the plans change every single time I've ever planned something. There's been a change in the plans, and to me, that doesn't seem like a good reason not to plan. But to that person, it was
Yeah.
the reason not to plan.
Yeah.
Did you feel that way at one point?
I've always just been a really loosey kind of goosey person, like a very
Okay.
go with the flow. So go with the flow is definitely a part of like some of my mantra, but at the same time, there's always an outline. You don't have to call it a plan. If the word plan makes you uncomfortable, you can say outline. So if
Smart.
I'm at a wedding and all of a sudden things aren't going well because something happened and we have to move this or we have to move that, I have my outline of the day. I know the shots I need to get. I know what the couple wants, the style they want, the things they've specifically asked for. So I know to push for those things, but I'm also not going to stress them out by saying like, oh, well, if this changes, we might have to change this. Like I'm going to go with the flow and just make sure I know what I'm doing. And I think that's really helpful. Cause yeah, the word plan sounds so concrete. So I think outline for the people that are a little more like, well, sometimes you just have to roll with the punches. I think outline is a great, is a word that I'm more comfortable with probably.
Totally makes sense. Yeah. And do you feel like that was that evolution in the way you're thinking about it was directly from your experiences in photography, or do you think it came from other places too?
No, it's definitely, a lot of my life has been photography. Like I was,
Mhm.
I feel like I was born in a dark room, like not a dark room, but the dark room. And so a lot of my life experience and my lessons have been learned from, from that. Like I've always had a camera in my hand. So it's just like the first time something's happened and then you're sitting there marinating on it. Because if you're like me, you're gonna think about it for the rest of your life. It's gonna pop in and you're gonna do this with your face. And so yeah, I learned a lot of lessons based on that. I also didn't start like a lot of your awesome students started because I started so young. Um, it's like building your house on a rocky foundation. I had to learn lessons as I went along. And so sometimes you have to kind of tear it all down and rebuild and tear it all down and rebuild, or, do a little patchwork over here or whatnot. So, yeah, lots of lessons were learned along the way. Like most of it's experience. Like I
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of, teaching lessons is mostly like, so I see the students that come out of your class and I'm always like, that's awesome. Good job. You're doing that because you're going to be so much more, you're going to be successful and so much faster than a lot of people who are just, had to like, or, chose to, or had to do it, just on their own as they went along.
What do you feel is do you feel more on the photography side that there's advantage to lessons, or more on the business side where there's advantage to lessons, to education?
If I'm saying like, if we're saying lessons, if we're talking about lessons, definitely the business side. Because that's something that is so hard to figure out. I don't know how many times somebody's been like, well, what should I price this at? And it's like, okay, well, that's a big question that I cannot personally help you with. Like, that's something, that somebody else, or you need to figure out, or somebody else needs to help you with. As far as like the photography aspect, I like to learn in more of a collaborative way. And so by taking workshops, by meeting up with another photographer and bouncing ideas off of each other. I do a lot of like, like, for example, Josh and I will, we're like, oh, we're feeling a little reddish. Let's both pick, a lighting style and figure out how they did it. Like, without looking it up, let's figure out how they did it, and we'll invite a model in, and we'll just like shoot all day, and then we'll go in and edit and try to figure out like, and so that's nice because it's a de-stress, but also I'm learning something. And he's a very technical photographer, and I was not for a very long time. I was just, like I said, very go with the flow, like natural light, let's see what I can learn this way. So it was really more, I guess, a collaborative more than lessons. I think if I sat down and someone was trying to teach me, I wouldn't be paying attention at all. Like, I need to be in it, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that, Kat. All right. Let's see what Adam has to say about this. Is that right? Yeah. Adam's next on this one. Adam, how do you positively deal with nope. Is that the right question? I'm off.
Very good. Yeah.
I already asked that question. How do you deal with a difficult situation? Oh, I know what it is. I was supposed to add that. Kat ended up the last one. I was supposed to start the next question with her. All right, so I'm going to start it with you since you're here. Are you? Kat was mentioning that she's actively involved. The way that she learns on the photography side, especially, is by being with someone else, working with someone else, playing with it, experimenting with it, being with a group. Are you involved in any clubs or organizations, or do you host anything like that helps out other photographers?
Yeah, I mean, the way Kat was describing is exactly how I learned. Like, I'm more of a, I'll figure it out, and if I see something, I'll try my best to try to mimic, or not really mimic that, but like see how they did it. So one of the biggest things recently was learning off-camera flash. Francisco Hernandez is a really popular photographer in Texas, and he has lots of tutorials on how to do it. And so I spent a lot of time doing that on my learning that on my own. And I'm just really into the hands-on portion of photography. And but as far as like getting into like or any other organizations or whatnot, I kind of want to tie this also into the original question of drain or whatnot. So when I first started doing photography, I didn't really, again, it was really overwhelming. And what really helped me a whole lot was going on when I first got into photography. The first app that I thought of when I was getting this first inspiration back in 2020 was Instagram. So something very basic, just looking through all the photos in there, seeing all the awesome things, and me thinking, oh wow, I wish I can do something like that. That looks so cool. And it's really funny. And one of the first inspirations that I saw on Instagram locally from a photographer in San Antonio, his name is Alex Mendez. His Instagram handle is Snap Magic. And I messaged him a long time ago. I said like, hey man, I really love your stuff. You're a big inspiration to me. And then flash forward now, we're friends. So, and because of that initial spark of inspiration and how I felt. I wanted to do give back also to the community because I spent a lot. If my wife is watching this, man, she would say I spent too much time. Well, there's still more time to go of me diving into photography, learning all as much as I can about. I get when I really really like something, really get obsessive about it. And I guess blame my ADHD for that. And because of the amount of time I put into photography, I learned a few things from there. And people people were asking me, it's like, well, can you teach me this? Like, how did you learn this and this? So yeah, what I do is that from the is I mentor beginning photographers, just like how when I started, I said, hey, these are some of the things that I ran into that gave me headaches when I first started. I want to make sure you avoid them. So yeah, I mentor a few photographers for them that are just starting out. And also another thing that I do is that going back to the inspiration portion, there's when I first started photography, I really wanted to learn street photography, and that's one of the biggest things that helped me recharge my batteries. Is that I do a lot of street photography. Um, I was part of a lot of shows at Brick and Blue Star and selling prints and all that, and also at Expedition. Had some of my street photography work there, actually a lot of it, and that really helps me stay inspired and also seeing other people's work as well. But I've noticed is that me being in the photography community, there's so much talent, and Amanda can probably attest to this. There's so much talent in the street photography community, film community, that not a lot of people know who these photographers are. And because of that, I made it a mission of myself to get these photographers' names out there. And about a year and a half ago, I started a online zine featurette called Street SATX. And what this is designed to do is that it's designed to promote local photographers with them sharing their story, their photography journey, what it means to them while showcasing some of their photos. So you would get a quick biography of who this photographer is, where to find them on social media, where to look up their own work, while seeing some of the work showcased within. This is all on Instagram. So, and every month I try to connect with 3 new photographers to share to the community what they do. This is their work. Please give them a follow, support them in any way you can. So, and you can find this monthly zine on my Instagram at shuttercraft_photography. And there's that, me trying to give back and show the San Antonio community all this talent really. I want to, because just like how I was being inspired from me messaging Alex a long time ago, Stat Magic, I wanted to make sure that I can try to give back to these other people. Maybe if I share this, any other new photographer out there, whether they just have their phone, they were wanting to get into photography, this would help them be inspired to where they can see someone's new work and then maybe potentially getting a camera or getting further into photography and trying to express themselves creatively that way.
Well, that's fantastic. That zine that you're having, that you do, the Street SATX, uplifting. You said up to 3 every month. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
3 every month, yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, that's just, shows that there's a lot of people like Amanda and like myself who want to do things to uplift the photography community. And I think something as simple as taking a class, watching a YouTube video, spending time with other photographers, I think all of these things are uplifting the photography community. Now, they may be in some small way, but everything we do that improves ourselves and our environment is uplifting the photography community. And so it's fantastic you have something that's organized to be able to do such a thing. And something that I bet you would agree with me on is everything you're doing. Yeah, it takes a little bit of your time. Sure. It takes a little bit of your effort. Sure. Probably costs a little bit of your money too. But it not only uplifts them, it uplifts you. You become a better person, a better photographer, a better person, someone who others want to be around because of your efforts. Do you find that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. um, I don't know. I mean, I for me, this is a this is a craft just like where people just want to, they feel creative, they want to express that, and just being uplifting to these people is something that just enjoy doing. And again, it kind of goes back to, and I kind of got this right from the start. It was like when I saw all this talent in street photography, it reminded me back to my music days of there was, so to kind of give you like a little, not to go too much on a tangent, there's a I've been, played music all throughout my life, and in high school there's a competition where you have to do it every year. You can opt in, but there basically it's an individual competition for your own little instrument, for your own instruments, and you can go all the way up to the state level. But during that whole process, all of those people that are auditioning for this particular thing are super talented, but they don't necessarily get recognized. Or the same thing with other universities, with other music groups. Like they're so talented, and that person, every person puts in a certain amount of work, and whether it be a lot or a little, it's still work that they're passionate about. And that went into photography for me, because I know these people, whether they dive into it every single day, eat, breathe, live this stuff, or if it's something they just bring the camera along just for fun, they're still putting some sort of story within their work, and showing some appreciation to that, even if it's just a little bit, goes a long way. Just like how it went a long way just for me, just messaging someone on Instagram saying, "Hey, I really like your work." Just taking the time just to really appreciate anyone's little work that they've did, would goes a long way.
Man, that's awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. So, uh, Adam, thank you for that. I'm going to bring Steve on to answer that same question. So, Steve, are you involved in any clubs or organizations that you feel are beneficial, that are helping you to recharge?
Yes, I'm a member of two different organizations. One of them is the Commemorative Air Force here in San Antonio at Stetson Field. And one thing I like about their organization is they are sponsoring, I would guess we would call them a cadet corps of young disadvantaged children. They're teaching them how to fly, how to work on airplane engines, how to repair aircraft, how to become mechanics. And I just think it's a really good thing, a well worthwhile organization to help the children that just don't have that kind of opportunity. They've been very successful. They've had 3 or 4 pilots. 2 of them were women, or young girls that have graduated and gone into the Air Force and into the airlines. But the other one recently joined the Bernie Chamber of Commerce, met another gentleman that is doing a video documentary on what happens when military personnel finish with their commitment and transition back to civilian life. And he was saying a lot of them have a hard time finding jobs because they don't even know that they need a headshot. So I volunteered to go and do headshots for these young kids that are getting out of the military. So that's something I haven't started yet, but that's what we're working towards. He's going to document them getting out, and I'm going to try to do headshots so they can put that on the resumes. So those are 2 organizations that I'm working with. And as far as as far as working with other organizations, I joined the PPA about a year ago, and have been taking advantage of all their education workshops, really focusing on Photoshop and learning how to do fine art portraiture with the using Photoshop as a painting program. Also, I've been a big fan of Corel Painter, so I've taken some classes from Karen Sperling on how to paint digitally. And that's encouraged me to go ahead and print the digital paintings out on canvas. And now I'm going to try going forward how to embellish these digital paintings with acrylic paint and with kind of clear gel to give you 3D dimension to the painting. Um, And then the other thing I do is I try to go out with some friends and shoot. Like a couple weeks ago, I went with Ron Castle, really good friend of mine that's won a lot of awards in PPA. And he and I went and shot planes out at Kingsbury Aerodrome. It's a grass field northeast of Seguin. So I think it's important just to go out with your friends and, just go out and just have fun, taking pictures of planes or whatever it is that you like, but just enjoying it for what it is. So that's kind of some of the organizations and things that I do. You know,
That's a lot of stuff, Steve. So, can I take your class on time bending? I mean, I've only got
yeah,
24 hours in my day, and I do waste some of them, and I do sleep, sometimes. But you seem to get a lot more done. I'm impressed.
well, I enjoy most of it, so that helps when you're really enjoying it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the truth. And you're also involved in photo essay. You're also involved as the sponsorship chair of the annual San Antonio Photography Tournament.
That's
So
right.
I have a feeling there's some things that you're doing that you haven't even shared yet because you think we'll be overwhelmed and won't believe you. But that's fantastic. The things that you're doing to uplift others. Now, do you feel like you get benefit from uplifting others?
I do, yes. As you get older, you want to work with younger people, and give them the same kind of chance that I feel like I had. I feel very blessed, very lucky, and a lot of things came my way. But you can show these kids that with hard work, there's pretty much you can do what you want. You don't have to be God's gift to anything. In my lifetime, I've noticed that 98% of us have to work hard at something, and there might be 2% that are just we call them golden hands or people that they were born naturally to do it. But the rest of us just have to work hard at it. But so that's good because then there's a lot of successful people out there, and it's mainly just putting your mind to it and doing it. So and you got to teach that to these young kids that failure is okay. If you just get back up, you try again, and if you keep doing that, eventually you're going to be able to do it and you're going to be successful. So you don't fail and then just give up and have a bad attitude. You got to keep a good attitude and just keep doing it over and over and over again, and you'll learn it. It's real easy.
That's good advice, Steve. It's not real easy.
No.
It takes a lot of effort, but man, you are so right.
Yep. Yep.
Thanks for sharing it, sharing
Yep.
what you do and sharing it that way, because I think we could all agree with that. So thank you for what you're doing, Steve. All right, I've got the same question I'm going to bring on Kat. Uh, are there any clubs or organizations, something like that, that either you are running or you're a member of or that you spend time with that you feel are beneficial to you and recharging?
There's nothing that I'm running, but I am going to be joining the new San Antonio Photo Center that's opening sometime soon, sometime this winter. Um, and I'm really excited about that. They're going to have some really great programs and workshops. And I just love seeing that there's going to be an official photo center here in San Antonio. I think that's awesome. So I'll probably be doing that. Anything else that I'm a part of is is stuff that's just like and then once every year, I used to pre-COVID, I went on a workshop called Yeah Field Trip, and that was really great because they didn't just talk about photography. It was for creatives, all kinds of creatives, and it wasn't just dealing with oh, how can I shoot better in the situation? They also did a lot of like mind and body stuff. So almost kind of showing you like, oh, if you need to unwind or if you need to recharge, why don't you try this and why don't you try that? And it was a really cool uh, kind of workshop. I hope it comes back around. I don't know if it will. But yeah, those are the two things. But San Antonio, as far as local, San Antonio Photo Center, I cannot shout them out enough. I'm so excited. They have deals for kids who are just starting out. They have not kids, but people who are just starting out, students, seniors, and then even, you know, professional photographers who've been doing it for more than, I think, four years or something. So I'm really excited to dive into that and just, you know, see what happens.
So they have a studio rental. Are you moving to that studio
No, no, no,
or just
no.
participate? Okay, okay.
Just participating, because they're also going to have like workshops, and it's kind of one of those things that, you know, why not become a member of something that's going to help other people? You know, because this is just right now, this is just like two people who were like, yeah, let's do this photo center for San Antonio and let's give back to the community. So if I can kind of help in any way, and by giving them a monthly, you know, and then getting some workshops out of it, and, you know, a little discount on merch here or there, like, I think it's totally worth it.
Yeah, Amanda and I have reached out to them too, and we
That's great.
totally agree. Hmm. Yeah, that anything really that helps out the photography community, I think we should
Yeah.
all jump on board and be a part of.
Totally.
Uh,
Absolutely.
so yeah, so thank you for sharing that. So the next question is for you, and let me pull that question up. Let's see. Do you have a person in your life that you can reach out to uplift you? And tell me about that person if you do.
Yeah, I have. I'm very lucky. I have multiple people, actually. Obviously, my husband. Like, he just kind of jumped on board with me, so he's my number one supporter and cheerleader, which is really great. Anytime I feel down or, you know, stressed, he's always there to make me feel amazing. You know, and then my kids, of course, like, I can do no wrong in their eyes, so that's great. So just really family, I want to say, is they're probably my number one. And then my number two would probably be other friends in the industry, because they kind of know, like, what you're going through. Like, oh, I had this situation and this happened, and they're like, oh man, yeah, that happened to me before, and da 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 da, like, you know, giving advice. And so really, I reach out a lot to my family and the photo community in San Antonio and elsewhere. I think social media is such a, you know, it can be devastating in other ways, but it's really great because I've been able to become friends with and reach out to other photographers all over the world, and so that's been really great. So, like, everybody? Gosh, is that even an answer? Like, everyone? You told me one person. I
Yeah,
literally named like
yeah.
everyone in my life.
So do you feel that that's something that everybody needs is someone that they can reach out to and talk to?
I mean, that definitely depends on the person.
Hmm.
I could never tell anyone like, oh, this is what you need or whatever. But
Right.
in my experience, you know, we are, you know, we are community people, like human beings. Like, I'm pretty introverted, for most of my life, very introverted, but there are moments where I can kind of be a little more outspoken and a little more out there. And even
Yeah.
I need to reach out to people. So I would say, in my experience, that's what I see the most. I see someone's always got someone or a friend or something that they can kind of like fall back on when they need a little help. Like, even my photo lab, like even Digital Pro Lab, like, I was having this huge panic attack about this project that someone asked me to do, and they totally helped me find a solution and, you know, brought on a new product to their lab. Like, it's just, I think so. I think people need people, but, you know, to each is their own, I guess.
Of course, you know, Amanda's pretty fantastic and outstanding. So, I mean, she's so here's everybody else, and Amanda's up there in the clouds, and you're like, oh, there she is,
Yeah,
because she's so amazing, and everybody loves Amanda, and for good reason. So,
yeah, she's great. She's great. And she lets me text her on her personal phone, which I'm so sorry, man.
you
I'll be
probably
like, I
weren't
thought I
supposed
called
to
the
say
lab. I'm
that.
so sorry. Like, I thought I called the lab. But real quick, I need some help.
I love it. So there's a question from someone who is driving that's got a question that's very specific to you, Kat.
Okay.
Francis wants to know, do you find it easier to work now that you have a studio versus in your home?
I find it easier to separate my home life from my work life, because my work life is my full-time job, and I'm doing it so often, I do find it helpful that I have another place to work or edit. But as far as shooting, there are so many great places in San Antonio where you can rent a space. Um, and there's so many beautiful areas around the city. Um, I don't think that made it easier. I just think it kind of changed the dynamic of what I shoot. Like it changed my options a little bit. But as far as editing, I mean, even going to like a coffee shop or something, just kind of getting out of your home. I did find that very helpful. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Thank you for answering that.
Thanks, Francis.
Do you know Frances?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. She's awesome. You'd love her.
Okay.
So thank you for answering that question for her. All right. So thanks, Kat. And I'm going to bring Adam on to answer that same question. Do you have a person in your life that you can reach out to uplift you?
Yeah, I mean, my wife definitely is my main person. She, as she's been the number one person that's really been encouraging me to continue doing this and continue learning the business side of photography, being so hard, like everyone's mentioned stuff that, yeah, I would say my wife. And there's also lots of many other people um, in the, I mean, like I was saying, like you can reach out to like many people in our industry, but there's several people that I can go to uplift me. There's some people like within our when I learned film photography, there's so many film photographers that are around my age or younger, and I can go out and reach out to them and just for needing help or just kind of mentioning what's going on, and they can uplift. And same with some of the people that I originally met when I first started photography. They were that one of the first people that I met originally was there's like two people that come to mind was Tim McVeigh and Kayvon Martinez, and those two people um, originally we connected when I was first starting photography, and I could reach out to them just mentioning how my day was and just talking shop or whatever. So yeah, just there's so I can go on too. There's so many people that I can mention that I've met throughout this time that I really enjoy the community that we have in San Antonio because like everyone is so uplifting to where if you're going through any kind of rut, a lot of people are willing to help you because I feel like we've all been there. Like we all go through these little road bumps or whatnot, if you will, and everyone wants to try to make sure that you can come out at the end better. So, but not to sound too biased, but biased, I would say my wife is my biggest rock.
That's awesome that you can say that, and I hope that most of us can. I definitely can, and I've met your wife. She is fantastic. You've introduced me to her at the Elevate exhibition, and I can see exactly why you'd be saying that. She just seems like a very supportive, calm, kind, overall amazing, good person, and so I'm glad you have her in your life to help out whenever you need it.
Definitely, I'm a fan.
Yeah, good. That's important. Thank you, Adam. And I'm going to bring on Steve to answer that same question. Steve, do you have a person in your life who you can reach out to uplift you?
Well, I'm going to have to answer very similar to the other two. My wife's my biggest supporter. And I don't know, you got to have somebody supporting you and your family in order to take on a business like this, and uplift you instead of dragging you down and being your biggest supporter. So she's been a great supporter. She just loves what I do. She gives me encouragement all the time. And of course, my kids love having them around. They're both in college, but they're around a lot when they're not at school, and it just helps keep the family going right when everybody gets along and everyone's happy. Um, as far as photography goes, I've never been worried about taking pictures. I always figured that if I don't know something, I can practice, or I can go to YouTube. I can take workshops. I can learn and practice over and over again. But the part that I was the most unsure of and the most uncomfortable with was running a photography business, and I knew that that's where photographers fail. If they're going to fail, it's because their business acumen or how they run their business. So I've got to thank you for making me feel a lot better. After taking all of your business classes and telling us about your experiences, both positive and negative, and how to avoid a lot of these problems. I can say I'm very confident and very comfortable with the business aspect now, and it's all because of you. So, I'm just super happy that you were here. I needed you, and you were there, and thanks for being there for me.
It's really nice of you to say that. Thank you, Steve. I definitely want to be a person that you can reach out to. Uh, Whenever you've got a question about the business side, especially, uh, it's the business side is fun, I think. But when a photographer starts out, I can only speak from experience. I don't know everybody's situation, but when I started back in 1991, so just a handful of years ago, I started with a degree in photography, and that sounds like a cool thing to start with, except they didn't teach us a thing about the business side, which you were just now talking about. And so I went into this thinking that I had a good education, which I did, but I thought I had a complete one, which I couldn't have possibly known that I didn't. And so I got into business, and a whole lot of there were 33 in my graduating class. They all got into business or did something in the direction of their photography dreams. And within 5 years, 32 of them were gone. They didn't exist in the business anymore. By 95, 96, I think it was 96, the last one that I was aware of dropped out and started doing something else. And I think it was because I don't think it had anything to do with the photography side. They were all wonderful photographers. I was not the top of my class. Now, I had a couple of classes where I did really well at, but for the most part, I was not. But I think the reason why they didn't last was because of the business side. Didn't know how to price things, didn't know how to market, didn't know how to do the behind the scenes things. Do you feel that those things are a little bit important, incredibly important? Where do you feel the business side falls?
It's very important. I think you could be an average photographer, and if you're a great salesman and a great businessman, you can do well. But I've seen guys that are excellent photographers that just have no idea how to run a business, and they can't understand why they can't make any money. So I think if you're above average photographer, as long as you learn the business, I think you can make it. You can do good.
Yeah, I total agreement with that. Well, Steve, we have one last question, and I'm going to be asking this of each one of the panelists. So it'll go to Steve, then it'll go to Kat, and then it'll go to Adam. But this is the fun side. What do you do for fun? What things do you do? Maybe you pull out a puzzle and work the puzzle. You play dominoes with friends, or I don't know, blackjack, or maybe you go out in the backyard and play volleyball, or swim in the pool if you have one, or maybe you go somewhere. Maybe you get your hair done. Maybe you go to Gene Philippis's art studio and gallery. What is it that you do to get away, for fun, to recharge, either by yourself or with others?
Okay. Well, if I'm at home and I need to recharge, I love listening to records, vinyl records on my turntable. I've got a nice setup here in my office, and I really enjoy listening to music. Now, if I need to get away from the house for a while and recharge, I have a Harley motorcycle, and I love taking that thing out during the middle of the week out in the hill country. Don't particularly like riding on highways or in big cities, but I love just riding that thing out in the countryside. I always bring my small little camera with me, and if I see something that I want to take a picture of, like an old farm that's fallen apart with rust, or if I see an old truck in a field that's been abandoned, or some nice landscape with the Guadalupe River. But anyway, I don't mind stopping, getting off, taking the helmet off, and taking a few pictures, and then getting back on that thing and going again. So I enjoy doing that a lot. If I need to just do some what I call mindless things, just to have fun and not take my mind and think about it, I enjoy my Photoshop painting and digital painting, because there you're just doing brush strokes on either a tablet or on a touchscreen monitor, and you can work for hours and kind of lose yourself, and it seems like all your problems go away when you do that. So those are the kind of things that I do, when I'm just need to get away or recharge myself.
Nice. Yep, those are fun. So, uh, even when you're getting away from photography, you sometimes go straight to it. When you're out on your motorcycle and you come across something that catches your attention, you're pulling out that camera or maybe cell phone and photographing it. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. And let's bring on Kat to answer that same question. Kat, describe some things that you do that are fun.
Um, okay. I do shoot a lot of film just for fun because I do it. I can't do that so much for my business as much as I'd like to at this moment. So I do fall back on photography a little bit, and I enjoy shooting film, and developing it and stuff like that. But I also, over the pandemic, like lots of people at home, got into gardening. So I started a little herb and vegetable garden, and the herb garden just like exploded and started growing weird stuff. Not weird stuff, but stuff like eucalyptus and turmeric and rue and all kinds of stuff like that. And then from there, kind of learned how to dry it and use it. And so, really, I guess the outdoors when I want to do something fun, I really love being outside. Um, I know it gets really hot in the summer, but San Antonio has some pretty good weather for the most part of the year. So being outside is great. And traveling, I love to travel, and I can't wait to be able to start doing that again. So yeah, those things, those things probably are really helpful. Uh, I did want to jump on something super quick. I saw there was a question in here that says, "How do you prevent mental illness from holding you back creatively or in your business?" Um, and so I did want to say those things that are fun, those things that you do just for fun, also kind of can help with that mental illness aspect, and also just being kind of open and not ashamed to reach out if you need help. Um, that's, I think, also really important. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a good answer. And thank you, Kevin Reyes, for asking that question. So, yeah, so the fun things you like to do are not photography related, and that's great. And I don't know that I've ever even tried gardening. Robin has, so she does do stuff like that in the backyard. But so was that new for you? Had you done that
Yeah.
kind of thing before?
I mean, we'd always had a lot of plants around the house. And so I really love nature. I love photographing nature. I'm not a nature photographer. That's actually very difficult to do, but I have always loved it. And so, we were just home, and we have a pretty good sized backyard, and I was like, let's dig in here. And yeah, it became something that definitely, I guess the yin and yang of my life would be like dark room, daylight. So, creatively I'm here, and then, when I'm needing some inspiration, I go outside. But yeah, it was newish, but herb gardening is definitely for me a lot easier than like the vegetable stuff, especially if
Nice.
the freeze took out most of my winter stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
there's
Yep. Well, hopefully it won't happen to you again this year.
I'm prepared. I'm so prepared this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Smart. Well, thank you, Kat, for answering that question and sharing so much more. I appreciate it. Let's go to Adam to answer that same question. Uh, can you tell us some fun things that you do?
Yeah, definitely. Also to mimic Kat, I shoot film too. That's something recently I started doing about like maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and that's one way I can really unwind. I don't know what it is, and so I never really thought too much about film until I got into it. Everyone's like, "Oh, just try it, you'll see." And I tried it, and I saw it's. I don't know what it is. It's addicting. Just me just looking up and discovering new types of film expired and some that are new and whatnot. So I just recently went to Six Flags and loaded a Japanese Superior 800 Venus and into my Canon 81, and excited to see how that turns out. And that's one way I can unwind. Digital Pro Lab takes care of my development, so I'm too scared to do that on my own. But I do have a scanner, so I do that. That way I can color grade it however I want. But yeah. Another thing that I do to, I guess, to have fun is I play a lot of video games and also see what my kids are doing. My kids are getting older, and so I like to see what their interests are. And but there's getting like for video games or whatnot. It's kind of a funny story. I played this one game a long time ago, and it was like an online game, and met some people through there, and then 7 years later I've met them in real life and stuff. So we've all actually became like really good friends. So that's something what I do for fun, and that just connecting with them. But yeah, but then also like my son's getting older. With he's going to be 10 years old this summer, and so he's starting to discover certain things. He likes photography too. He's getting old enough to where he's able to see what I do, and so he'll bring his I've got him a little Fuji Instax camera, and I'll bring my X100V out with me, and so I'll try to take it out wherever I go, just taking photos of anything, whether it be HEB, whatever, just anything I have, I can try to take a photo of and like, try to get something good out of it. So I connect with him that way, and also Pokemon was the biggest thing in my young youth, and so now he's starting to discover that too. So me getting into his interests and him discovering that has been fun. But in summary, just played video games to unwind, shoot film a lot, even though Kodak's increasing their prices next year. It's making me cry internally. and yeah, just hanging out with my kids.
Love it. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Uh, Real quick, someone asked a question a little while ago that was directed to you, and I want to give you at least a quick opportunity to answer that question. Let me bring it back up. Let's see. Alan, now this question sounds like it might take a little bit to answer, so make it on a short side if you don't mind. But Alan says, Adam, anytime I try picking up something new, I struggle to get the wheels spinning. Saying you accomplish so much in so little time. Any advice you can offer to someone who struggles at getting things started?
Yeah, I mean, just keep it simple. Be your be your own cheerleader. Like, give yourself those small victories. If you're having trouble being motivated, give yourself little goals. Just be like, oh, like whether it be for like cooking or whatnot. Like during COVID, I didn't know how to bake bread, and everyone was baking bread. It's like, oh well, I was able to get the dough together, yay, or something. Just any small victory you can make that be a motivation for you, and just go with that. Just make small goals. You don't have to think of it being like I don't have to paint the Mona Lisa or anything like that. Just be like, okay, just take it one step at a time, and that's what helps me with anything. Just not setting huge goals, but just little ones. Me knowing that, okay, well, I was able to get that. Oh, I was able to get that, and seeing the progress as you go along, rather than waiting to see a bigger thing. Just taking those small little victories as you go.
Nice. I love that. That's perfect, Adam. So let me bring everybody back on. So bring in Kat and bring in Steve and Amanda. We definitely appreciate what it is you guys are doing. We appreciate the time that you're investing into uplifting other photographers, both here on the Portrait Profit Show and in your own lives, and what it is that you're doing. I definitely appreciate that. Amanda?
Y'all inspire me. I see a lot of photographs, as you well know, every day. but I follow all of your Instagrams or your Facebook, and I see the prints that y'all put through, and they are my outlet to actually be able to see what y'all creatively are developing, and it makes me want to go out of my company and get out there and shoot or connect with y'all. Be it, I know Adam, we've met several times at our espresso and edits that we've had, and you inspire me to learn Lightroom, CC, which is, I know you do it on your iPad, which, I'm a master at Lightroom Classic on desktop. So I'm going to be picking your brain here pretty soon, with some of your editing techniques. You inspire me, just seeing what you've been able to accomplish. And I've been shooting photography for years, also as my creative outlet as well. But yeah. And then Kat, you have some amazing partnerships with people that I've seen you create backdrops with them and use different costuming and things like that. You just like to pull other people into your spaces that give you just food for creative thought that I think really shows through your work. So it's amazing. And then Steve, you're one of the last people that I've met recently of the two other ones that are here, and your stuff, your fine art portraiture is amazing. The lighting techniques that you're using, it's very rare, even in our industries, to see that level of technique and attention to detail. And again, just an inspiration to me. So I wanted to thank y'all, not only for sharing your insights today, but for sharing your work, not only in your businesses, but with the community through everything that y'all do, because all three of you actually are very well tapped into San Antonio's art community, photography community, and you're inspiring other people. You're inspiring Jim and me and, people that have been in this industry for a very long time. And I think that's great. It gives new creative license, different ways of thinking, ways of viewing photography, and you're shaking things up, and I hope that that. I'm seeing people that are being inspired by the way that y'all are doing things, and y'all have no idea quite yet what you're doing and how it's impacting. But I want to tell you that I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it in the prints that we're producing for other photographers, budding photographers, and keep it up. So thank you so much for being here today and for continuing to do all the things that you're doing throughout San Antonio's photography community.
Well, thank you, Jim and Amanda. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, thank you all.
Amanda, that could not have been said any better. That's fantastic.
I tried.
That's so good. I love it. So we are, coming to the close of another Portrait Profit show, and we of course rely on wonderful, great people like the three panelists we have on today. Adam and Steve and Kat are wonderful people, but they represent wonderful people who make up the San Antonio photography community and beyond. I know there are a few that watch that are beyond, but keep up what you're doing. And if you ever feel like there's something that's dragging you down, please reach out to Amanda. Please reach out to myself. And if you aren't Adam, reach out to Adam. If you aren't Steve, reach out to Steve. If you aren't Kat, reach out to Kat. Because these faces you're seeing here right now are people who genuinely love other photographers. We love what it is that we do. We love the creativity. We love what it does. We love what it's going to do in the future. And we want that to continue to spread and to continue to grow. So thank the three of you for being on today, and I look forward to seeing you guys at Portrait Profit shows in the future. I'm going to take you off camera. You're welcome to stay and watch what's left of the show, but I'm going to take you guys off camera. But once again, thank you, Kat, Adam, Steve, for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Whew, man. You know how to pick them.
They're great. I'm so glad they said yes when I asked.
Oh, man. I love that. Well, did you have anything that you wanted to share before we before we end?
Yeah, so I do. I didn't have something like a promo code, but I have something a little bit different that I do want to share, and it's kind of in theme with creative ways for creatives to recharge. So as Jim knows, we have a lot of partnerships, not only with him but other organizations, other companies throughout San Antonio, and one of the companies here in San Antonio, it's called Hopscotch San Antonio. I don't know if any of y'all have ever been, but it's an interactive art space where you can actually go in to these different rooms. They're great opportunities to take pictures in these creative spaces. And through our partnership with them, we've actually been able to get exclusive access for photographers to go in during the day, typically during the week time when they generally are closed, and allow a group of photographers just to go in with models, friends, family, whatever they want to do, to really just deep dive in a creative space. And I know Kat has been on one of those with us. It's been a little bit since we've done it, but I'd really love to extend an invite to anybody that's watching that might be interested in joining us in maybe one that we do here in January, maybe a little bit later in January. So what I want you to do is, let me pop this up real quick. I want you to email hop to amanda@digitalprolab.com and join us for a private shootout at Hopscotch San Antonio. It's going to be a lot of fun. We usually, like I said, we take out about 10 or so photographers. So it really depends on how many we get this round, but I'd love to extend that to y'all. If you haven't been, this is a unique opportunity for you to actually engage in different creative spaces, just to get that creative juices flowing, get you out of your normal day-to-day stuff that you do creatively in photography, and get you into something with other photographers that you can bounce different ideas off of, and just create some different stuff. So I hope you take advantage of that. Feel free to email me directly, amanda@digitalprolab.com. Just message me Hop and I'll get your information, and we'll get a collective of photographers that can come and shoot out with us. Okay.
That's awesome. Hopscotch. I even like that name. So email hop to your email address, amanda@digitalprolab, so that we can be part of the private shootout.
Yep.
At Hopscotch.
Yep.
Simple enough. That's fantastic.
Easy.
Thanks for making that happen for us.
You're welcome.
All right. So, man, there's a lot of things to do in San Antonio. Do you ever come across people that say there's nothing to do here?
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I hear people say that. Who says?
Ray tells me that. He's like, there's nothing to do here. We need to travel somewhere else. And I'm like, you need to take yourself out of a San Antonian's headspace, and you need to pretend like you've never been here before. And all of a sudden things just start.
There's so much. There's so much. I mean, there's more than enough. Wow. Anyway. All right, so you guys do that. Take a moment right now. Write that down. HOP. Put it in your go to your email, amanda@digitalprolab.com. Enter HOP in the subject
or wherever,
or in the body, and that'll put them on the list so that they can participate in this.
Exactly.
Oh, too cool. You make it so easy for us. Thank you. Awesome. All right. For you guys that have been taking advantage of Lunch with Landers, thank you for doing that. This has been a lot of fun. I haven't counted how many people have taken advantage of Lunch with Landers yet, but just in case you don't know what it means, I buy lunch for, and I'm going to turn that off temporarily. I buy lunch for one photographer at least, sometimes it's more than one, every single week. And I've been doing this since sometime this summer, and I want to continue doing it because it's so much fun getting to know someone one-on-one over lunch, and not having any responsibilities at that point in time. If you're working on a job, you can get to know someone, but that's different than this. So this is, you don't even need to bring your camera. You just need to bring a little bit of an appetite and drive out to wherever I'm going to be at. Usually it's a Dominion Country Club, and so we have done a bunch, and I am booked all the way through the end of January. And so for right now, I'm just not going to post the address because it's full. But I will post, and let me put this in the comments. If you want to visit with me via Zoom, then I want you to take advantage of this business assessment consultation. And let me. So the business assessment consultation is usually around a 30-minute private session. It's totally free. I don't charge anything for the lunch. I don't charge anything for this. I have so far worked with, I don't know, last count it was 540 something, or maybe it's 540 something or 550 individuals who have taken me up on my business assessment consultation. So quite a few of you guys have taken me up on it. And so I want you to continue to do that. But that is just a private session to talk about you and your portrait photography business. That's all it is. You could talk about your pricing. You could talk about your marketing. You can, whatever it is, you can talk about it. Most people, it's pricing. In fact, probably 70% have been wanting to ask questions about their pricing because of they realize that their price is too low, but they're also concerned that if they raise their price that they'll lose clients. And so we discuss that. So take advantage of my business assessment consultation. It's totally free, and you don't have to do it tomorrow. Just go to the address that you see on the news feed, click on that link, and just find a time that does work for you. It can be a month from now. It doesn't have to be today, but take advantage of that. Again, I'm not charging you anything for it, and it is beneficial to you. So it's good. Take advantage of that whenever you're ready. Let's talk about what we have coming up. There's two Mondays left of this year. That's it. Is that hard to believe?
That's insane.
2 Mondays left of 2021, and then it's over.
I can't believe it's going to be 2022. I blinked.
Mm-hmm. So the next episode is what to do before the end of the year, and that's on the 20th. That's a week from today, just a few days before Christmas. What to do before the end of the year. Now, for those of you who are in business or want to be in business, you don't want to miss this one. You definitely want to be here for that one. And the reason is because as I was writing this, and I wrote this probably 5-6 years ago, but then I rewrote it because I review the work because things change. And I realized some things that I had forgotten to include. And so even if you've taken this class with me before, I still recommend you take it again because, man, there are some things that life happens. We keep on keeping on, whether we get stuff done or not. Life keeps on going. It's linear, but we can really easily miss some things that we know to be important. And of course, you're the one who defines what important is. But we don't want to just not be aware. And so come and be aware. That's a week from today, and that's at noon. And then on the 29th at noon is the last minute review of your 2022 plans. I hope you have 2022 plans already. If you don't, that means you're normal because there's a lot of people that just don't plan. Kat mentioned it earlier that she didn't used to be a planner, but now she sees the extreme benefit of it. And even though she was, kind of somewhat against it at first, she does it now because she sees the benefit of it. So let's review your 2022 plan, the last minute review of your 2022 plan. And that's, you know what? Robin just shared with me that I have the wrong date here. So let me edit that real quick. That says the 29th. It's supposed to say the 27th. Robin, you rock.
Move like a napkin in front of you with the note on it, or what?
She did. That's exactly right. She had a calendar in one of those big paper calendars that my mother buys her a calendar every single year. But she came in with that calendar and just pointed at the date, and it was a very clear. She communicated extremely well. So please mark that on the 27th. It is a Monday, so some of you guys probably knew immediately when I made a mistake. But it's Portrait Profits is every single Monday. We don't miss unless it's impossible for us to do it, and it has been.
Snowstorm.
Yeah, the snowstorm cut us off. We didn't have any electricity. I couldn't do it. We were running the fireplace to keep warm in here, and that didn't really do a good job. So last minute review of your 2022 plan. That's all that's left for this year. So what to do before the end of the year and last minute review of your 2022 plan. Please put that on your calendar right now, and please share this with your friends. Everything about this is beneficial to all of you. When we uplift just one of us, we're uplifting everybody. But when we uplift everybody, everybody benefits from it. For one, when we start charging a price that causes us to actually make a real income in photography, if that becomes the norm, then it won't seem like a high price to you anymore. So be a part of this. Share the good things that you hear with others who could benefit as well. Thank you, Amanda, for all that you do for the San Antonio photography community. Can we bring up that that one more time, the hopscotch? Yeah. So take advantage of that. Anything like this. Adam mentioned before that he has events, the Street SATX, where he's commenting on bringing attention to different photographers. There's a lot of things going on for just photographers alone. So thank you guys for being here, and we definitely look forward to seeing you next week. Amanda, any last minute thoughts or plans before we bring this to a close?
Trying to get through the last little vestige of December, but January we're getting back to all the normal stuff. So Espresso and Edits is coming back. We've got an in-person print competition coming up. So we've got a lot. So if you aren't aware of what we do at Digital Pro Lab, hop on over to digitalprolab.com. Check out all of our products. You can also see our event calendar on there, which will be starting to list those January events coming up. So if you want to participate in, especially if you're here in San Antonio, in any of those local events, definitely check that out.
Awesome. Thank you, Amanda.
You're welcome.
All right. For Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, this is Jim Landers bringing you the weekly Portrait Profit Show, giving you evolving content, awareness, and even fun to the business side of photography. We provide helpful information, step-by-step processes, how-to articles, and action steps that will help you with the struggles you deal with now so that you are constantly realigned to the path that leads to the success you deserve. Bye-bye for now.